Chapter 14 Water. Suppose for some reason your family gets only one bucket of water every day for a week. Imagine what would happen. Would you be able to cook, clean utensils, wash clothes, or bath? What are the other activities you would not be able to do? What would happen if you do not have easy access to water for a long period of time? Apart from drinking, there are so many activities for which we use about the quantity of water we use in a single day. How much water do we use? Activity 1. List all the activities for which you use water in a day. Some activities are listed in table 14.1. Make a similar table in your notebook. Throughout the day, measure the amount of water used for each activity by you and the other family members. You may use a mug, a glass, a bucket, or any other container to measure the amount of water used. You now have a rough idea as to how much water your family uses in a day. Can you estimate the amount of water used by you for personal cleanliness in a day? Using this information, calculate the amount of water needed by your family in a year. Now divide the amount by the number of members of your family. This will give an idea of the amount of water needed by one member of your family in a year. Find the number of people that live in your village or town. You may now get an idea of the amount of water needed by your village or town in a year. You have listed a number of activities for each you use water. Do you think our water requirement is limited to activities like this? We use wheat, rice, pulses, vegetables, and many other food items every day. We know that some of the fibers that we use for making fabric come from plants. Is water not needed to grow this? Can you think of some more uses of water? Water is used in industries for producing almost all things that we use. So, we need water not only for our daily activities but also for producing many things. Where do we get water from? Where do we get water that you use? Some of may say we draw water from a river, spring, pond, well, or a hand pump. Some others might say we get water from taps. Have you ever wondered where water in taps comes from? Water that we get from taps is also drawn from a lake or a river or a well. Figure 14.2. It is then supplied through a network of pipes. Each of us may be getting water into our homes in different ways, but finally all of us get water from the same sources such as ponds, lakes, rivers and wells. We have discussed some of the sources of water. Where does the water come from to fill these ponds, lakes, rivers and wells? Do you know that about 2/3 of the earth is covered with water? Most of this water is in oceans and seas. Figure 14.3. The water in the oceans and seas has many salt dissolved in it. The water is saline, so it is not fit for drinking and other domestic, agricultural and industrial needs. You might have heard the famous lines of poem Rime of the Ancient Mariner, written by S.T. Coleridge in 1798. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. Here the poet has described the plight of sailors on a ship lost in the ocean. Yet, ocean plays an important role in supplying the water that we use. Do you find this surprising? After all, the water that we use is not salty. Many of us lives in places far away from the oceans. Does the water supply in these places also depend on the oceans? How does ocean water reach ponds, lakes, rivers and wells which supply us water? How come the water from these sources is not saline anymore? This is where the water cycle comes in. Water cycle, disappearing trick of water. How many times have you noticed that water spilled on a floor dries up after some time? The water seems to disappear. Similarly, water disappears from wet clothes as they dry up. Water from wet roads, rooftops, and few other places also disappears after the rain. Where does the water go? Do you remember activity 6 in chapter 5 in which water with salt dissolved in water so was heated? What did we find? The water evaporated and salt was left behind. This activity gives us an idea that on heating water changes into its vapor. We also realized from this activity that water vapor does not carry away the salt with it. Water vapors so formed become a part of air and cannot usually be seen. We also find that heating is essential to convert water into its vapor. However, we have seen that water changes into its vapor also from the fields, roads, rooftops, and other land areas. We also discussed in chapter 5 that to obtain salt water from the sea is left in shallow pits to let the water evaporate. From where does the water get and the heat it needs to evaporate? Let us find out. Activity 2. Take two similar plates, place one of the plates in sunlight and keep the other under shade. Now pour equal amount of water in each of the plates. You can use a cap of bottle to measure water. Make sure that water does not spill over. Observe the two plates after every 15 minutes. Does the water seem to disappear? From which plate does it disappear first? What is the source of heat for this evaporation? During the daytime, sunlight falls on the water in oceans, rivers, lakes, and ponds. The fields and other land areas also receive sunlight. As a result, water from all these places continuously change into vapor. However, the salt dissolved in the water are left behind. In activity 2, did you find that water also disappeared from the plate kept in the shade, though it could have taken more time? Does the heat from the sunlight reach here? Yes, during the daytime all the air surrounding us gets heated. This warms air provides heat for evaporation of water in the shade. Thus, evaporation takes place from all open surface of water. As a result, water vapor gets continuously added to air. However, evaporation of water is slow process. That is why we rarely notice its loss from a bucket full of water. In sunlight, evaporation takes place faster on heating water on a burner. Its evaporation takes place even faster. Is there any other process through which water vapor gets transferred into air?